welcome to Soul to Soul. I am your host, Medium Kelly Kristin, and it is great to be here with you tonight. Thank you so much for joining me. Before we get to our caller, I want to do a shout out to all our moms, right? We have Mother's Day coming up. So whether you're a mom, whether you have a mom here on the earth plane or in the spirit world, it's a shout out to all moms. I'm also running a special right now. I just put up today. So if you're a mom and you would like a psychic reading, or if you would like to connect with Mom in Spirit, if you go to my website, mediumkellykristin.com, and book a reading, put in Mom23, and boom, you get your discount. So that's the discount code again is Mom23. So I also wanted to say thank you to everybody who reached out and followed me or liked my Facebook page. I love connecting with you. I think I mentioned before that as my profession was a teacher, and this is kind of difficult for me on radio because I've always been taught to, gauge for feedback, and I feel like I'm talking to myself. So I love when you guys chat with me on Facebook or Instagram. So thank you for doing that. And also, I can't believe I haven't mentioned this before. I know so many of you on here are either starting your spiritual journey, or you know that feeling that you just might have something going on, right? Everybody's psychic, but I have a free beginner class, and you can find it on Eventbrite or on my webpage at mediumkellykristin.com, and it's called Psychic Medium Class for Baby Beginners. So they're on Tuesdays, almost every Tuesday. I have a couple different times. You just come and you get to ask questions. If you are afraid to join a class, you can ask me the question. Sometimes we do little mini exercises. Sometimes I just talk about some of the terminology that you may or may not know. It's just a really good way to get to ask your questions that you might be afraid to ask. And I would love to meet all of you in person. So that is actually on Zoom. So again, you can find that on Eventbrite or on my webpage. And on Eventbrite, I'm under Medium Kelly Kristin. So please join me. And we're still waiting for a caller. So let's see. Let's pull a card. Right. I'm going to pull from my Into the Lonely Woods, which is a beautiful deck, even though it sounds like it's a sad deck. It's not. Let's see what I get. Oh, Blessed Reunion. And if you can see, I have two, oops, I'm so terrible at holding up the card. Two little like elemental kind of beautiful, they're not monsters, but they're just beautiful, embraced. So Blessed Reunion. So you know what this actually just reminds me of? Just what I was talking about. That reunion with, it could be with mom, could be Mom in Spirit. It could be somebody else, right, in spirit. It could be with somebody who you connect with on a soul basis, right? We all have those people that when you meet them, you kind of feel like, I know that person, or, I might feel like I've known you before. So Blessed Reunion is just a really beautiful card, really lovely. And you know what, actually, it also reminds me kind of what my theme is for the whole thing is shine your light bright, right? So having that reunion, that time connecting with somebody else, shining your light bright, right? So maybe we haven't talked about that in a while. Let's practice that again this week about shining our light bright. Okay, so others can see us and find us and connect with us. And I think we have our caller. Leslie, is that right?
Yes.
Hi, Leslie, and you're from New York?
I am.
Awesome. I love New York. Um, how's the weather there right now? Could you hear me, Leslie?
I just it cut out for a second. I can hear you
Oh,
now
shoot. Okay. Well, I'm not going to waste your time asking about the weather. What kind of a reading would you That's what I was asking. What kind of a reading would you like? What were you looking for?
though. I would like to know what spirit wants me to know about my relationship.
Oh, okay. Hmm. All right. Um, just feel in a little bit. The very first thing that comes through for you is that uh, you have a lot of people um, backing you up on the other side. And I'm not sure if you know that, or if you're aware of that. And I feel like some of these people are actually more ancestral, because I feel like these are people that you may not have known here, but you know as a
Hmm.
soul. So I
Okay.
feel like this is where I'm kind of getting my information from, because I feel like you have this whole team behind you that supports you. And the first thing I think I want to mention about that um, is that you've done this is interesting that you've done a really good job of healing any past family trauma. And I don't know if that would make sense to you.
Oh yes.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Because regarding the relationship, I feel like you're not carrying that into this relationship. But I do feel like um, that you have set up some good boundaries. And I just want to advise you to address those boundaries again, just so you don't give in, if that makes sense to you. Would you understand that at all?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay. Not that you are, it's just you have this big, beautiful, kind heart. And sometimes it's easy to forget and stand up for ourselves. Um,
Right.
I also feel like um, in you're psychic as well, right? And I always say when you ask for a relationship reading, you're kind of looking for validation. And I'd like to invite you to I'd like to invite you to look inward, because I feel like you already know the answer to the question you just asked me.
I do know the answer.
and and remember what you want, right? Um even though I don't know if I want to say you try to fight it. It's just more of I feel like you are the one to give in. And so I'm trying to
Mm,
say, I guess, don't be the one to give in, um, even on small things. And I also feel like um, a lot of being able to express and communicate is important. And I feel like this also goes to boundaries as well. Not being afraid to
mm,
ask what you deserve, and that sometimes
hmm.
feels really selfish for us. And sometimes we almost like self sabotage ourselves and talk ourselves out of it. And I'm not saying
Right.
the relationship's bad, right? I'm not saying that at all. I'm just actually trying to be almost like, actually, not me, spirit's coming through to ask you to be a cheerleader for yourself, to,
Mm,
um, stand up for yourself and speak your truth, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Would you understand that at
yeah.
all?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
uh, it sounds, it's not, I know it sounds like I'm like doom and gloom here, but I think I'm just trying to uh, make you recognize that you don't want to settle for past patterns, because you've broken through all that. you
I
have
know.
you've healed that you've healed that part of yourself. You don't want to rip open that wound again, right?
I know. I've done a
um,
lot of work.
I can tell, and this is what I'm being told. And it's almost like I'm guilty of the same thing. We get in these patterns and then we make excuses, and then we almost like self sabotage ourselves, right? Because
Mm,
we're not enjoying the journey, or we're looking for the final destination, but we're actually on a journey. So almost
yeah.
taking that time to slow down and think about the journey and each piece of it. Does this make me happy? Am I happy? Is this what? And don't think what's at the end. Don't think, am I going to have a relationship? Am I going to get married? Am I going to do this, that, or the other thing? Think about how the journey, like you're picking up.
Yeah.
Okay, I get this picture of actually picking up like little jewels off the ground. It's almost like you're putting them in, like, I don't know, a bowl or a basket. You want to pick up each one. You don't want to leave any of them behind instead of rushing to the end, because you might, I don't know why I'm saying this, but this is what I'm being told. So really listening to yourself. Don't fall into those self-sabotaging, self-limiting patterns, because you've done so much work, right? And in your heart. Does that ring true for you at all?
Yeah, all of it.
Okay. I really feel like, and I also can tell that you're also either already on your spiritual journey or thinking about it or starting, or do you do things like meditation or take classes or something like that? Talk to your spirit guides?
I do it all.
Yeah. Okay.
I do it all.
So we're easier, myself included, on giving the advice, right? But we're not so good about taking our own advice. And so I know know in your heart and soul what's right for you, what will make you happy on your journey. So and sadly we are out of time, but thank you so much for calling. I really appreciate it. It was great to connect with you. Good luck.
Yes, thank you so much.
Thank you. And for the rest of you, stay tuned for my friend Carmel Ann on Soulfully Guided. She's amazing. And I will see you all next week. Bye-bye.